Chapter 18. There's a lot of confusion about angels, like when we were in the best place and the nurses were supposed to be angels, or in the graveyard. There were lots of stones that said little angel or now with the angels. People are not angels, and when you come to die, you do not become an angel. Angels are a completely different species. For instance, they've got no belly buttons, obviously, as they weren't born. You need totally different bone structure and DNA and everything if you wanted to be an angel. So no one becomes an angel to watch over you. Ever. No one. It's biologically impossible. Also, there are different kinds of angels, such as a cherub, powers, dominions, and some of them are huge. Like your guardian angel is about 6 meters high. It's embarrassing when you think about it that all you need is celestial power and wingspan just to keep you out of trouble. And it doesn't even work a lot of the time. I lay in my bed looking up at the ceiling, wishing it would open up and suck me into the pitch black and leave me behind the water tank. I had the mobile in my hand set to vibrate so it wouldn't wake up the others. My phone shook. I held it up over my head. Glass Eye was looking down at me from the video screen. He whispered, 10 minutes, and flashed the fingers of one hand at me twice. I nodded and went down to get the money. As I passed the front door, I could hear voices outside. It must be him. He must have someone with him. Sounded like more than a few. Maybe he brought the whole gang. I could hear one of them saying, ring the doorbell. I was scared they'd wake Dad. I was scared, full stop. I opened the door. It wasn't Glass Eye. It was a man with 3 girls. Before I even asked him who he was, he started, see these little girls, my girls? These girls that Santa Claus forgot. Do you see what I'm saying? I didn't. I looked over his shoulder to see if Glass Eye was coming, but it was too dark. You're our last hope. We haven't even got the money for the bus fare home because there's no point in going back if you don't help us. The landlord will chuck us out. Come on, we don't want much. If you could just see us through. He was pushing the girls towards me, and I now saw that one of them was Gemma. She whispered, sorry about this. Tricia Springer told us you gave her $3,000 for carol singing. We're on the bones of ours, you know. Don't tell anyone. Okay, what do you mean? I said. I mean, how much? Oh, thanks a lot, son, said her dad. A couple of $100, maybe 3 would get us through. The bag was behind the door. I grabbed a handful of notes from the top and handed it over, thinking, I wonder if Tricia's told anyone else. The man said yes and punched the air as he led the girls away. When they stepped back from the door, they triggered the outside light, and then I saw it. The whole close was packed with people, hundreds of people, all pushing and shouldering their way down the path towards the door. Each and every eye was staring at me. Each and every eye was full of want or need. There were hundreds. It felt like millions. I remembered what St. Peter had said about putting the address on the back of the envelopes. He had been right. Well, he was infallible. We were besieged. Hoping it was a dream, I shut the door too quickly. It woke Dad up. From upstairs, he shouted sleepily, Damien, who are you talking to? No one, just checking. The doorbell rang. I froze. It was him. It must be Glass Eye. I had to answer it. The others were just a dream. While I was thinking, Dad was coming downstairs, muttering to himself, who is it at this time of night? I'll get it, I said. Don't be daft. And he yanked the door open, and a woman in a smart suit stepped right in, saying, some 50% of families with chronically ill children break up. Long-term care is stressful. We aim to give the people a break and to help them over the hardest times with simple things like train fares and overnight expenses for as little as... What the... Do you know what time it is? This is a private house. There are kids here. Exactly, said the woman. Kids. Kids are what it's all about. Kids with chronic illnesses. As if that wasn't hard enough to deal with itself. But all too often that illness leads to the breakup of the child's family. Look, sounds great, but come back in the morning, eh? Dad was trying to push her back out, but the minute he did, a tall man with sticky up hair was standing in his way, holding up something like a tiny ladder. This may look a tiny ladder to you, but to a hedgehog, it's a lifeline. It's the difference between life and death. It was a little ladder, actually, and it was for helping hedgehogs out of cattle grids and drains. They cost £8, said the man. £8 a time to manufacture and install. With your help, we could save hundreds of hedgehogs. What? Said Dad. Why me? Oh, come on, said the man. Everyone knows. Why not give us a handful? This delightful ceramic hedgehog will be yours to keep. In the morning. We could talk about it in the morning. Now, come on, please. There's kids. And he pointed to me. But it was no good. Everyone just stared, shouting and waving leaflets and pictures. And the outside light snapped on and off and on and off like lightning. It felt like the whole population of the world was trying to get through our front door. Look, this is that same donkey after only 3 months in our care. You may be asking yourself, why does Waterloo Station need friends? I know that irritable bowel syndrome isn't sexy. And if your gift aid donation, then it's worth 30% more to us without costing you a penny. I've got the forms here. Yoga for prisoners? While Dad was shouting at them, I quietly picked up the bag of cash and took down my new red duffel coat. I slipped into the living room and there was someone banging on the window. He was pressing a photograph of a woman in a headscarf up against the glass, yelling, "They want to send her back tomorrow. They say I can appeal, but I can't appeal with no money. She has no one back home. They're all dead." He hadn't finished when someone shoved him out the way and started knocking on the glass too. It felt like the whole house was about to crumble under the weight of people's needs. They all looked angry and desperate. Dad was shouting, "Anthony, shut the door," as though he thought they were about to just burst in and take the money. I could see he was scared, just like he'd been scared of Terry from IT. I made my decision. I opened the back door. There was no one there. At the bottom of the garden, I dropped the bag over the fence and climbed over after it. I could still hear them all shouting. I could hear them all the way to the railway line. When I got to the holly bushes, the phone buzzed. Glass Eye was growling at me through the video screen. "Where the hell are you? What the hell is going on?" I dropped the phone and he carried on yelling into it. The screen glittered as I walked away, like a talking raindrop. Looking back towards Crombie Close, I could see a pale blue flashing light on and off, and I knew that the police had arrived. It was Anthony who told me what happened later. Lots of police had come because the neighbours had complained about the noise. The police had got everyone out the house and their dad had to try and explain to them why all these people thought he had loads of money. Dad just said, "I don't know, someone must have been saying things about us, untrue things, obviously. But the community policeman was there by then and he picked out the new plasma screen TV and the dishwasher right away and said, 'So, has the good Lord been pouring out his comforts and consolations on you and all then?' Dad said, 'What?' 'Don't mind if I take a look around,' said the copper, and off he went upstairs. Dad hissed at Anthony, 'Where is it? Where is it all?' Because he couldn't see the bag of money anywhere. It was Anthony who noticed that my coat was missing as well. He didn't say anything. He knew where I'd be, and he sneaked the back door open, and there on the patio was Glass Eye. He leaned right down into Anthony's face and hissed, 'You're the clever one, aren't you? You were the clever one. You were clever with me last time. Don't try and be clever with me this time, or I'll drown you, okay?' Anthony stood back to let him in. 'Where is it?' Anthony said it was upstairs. Glass Eye pushed him forward. Anthony led him up the stairs to his bedroom, and the first thing Glass Eye saw before he was inside the room even was the wall completely covered with old money. They don't take the glue very well, by the way, so they'd all started to bubble a bit. It looked like the money was crawling up the walls. Glass Eye walked in there and stared at it closely, like he couldn't believe it. He touched it. It was only then he realised the community policeman was in the room already. "Did you know," said the policeman, "that 70% of British banknotes contain traces of cocaine? Some 40-odd% contain traces of gunpowder. You know, from guns? It's all on there. If you could read it, that's the thing, isn't it? You can't. Them notes, people have sweated for them, stolen them, wasted them, died longing for them. And what do the notes care? Not a thing. Now, who are you?" Glass Eye put his head on one side to look at the man with his good eye. "Who am I? Who the hell are you?" he said. "We're the police," said the community policeman.